Hello crafters and welcome to the Creative Expressions Treasure Hunt here this Thursday at 6 p.m. with me. I'm James from the demonstration team here at Creative Expressions, and I've put together another really exciting bundle for you this evening to share with you. Just a few moments over in my crafting corner there. So before I go any further, if you haven't seen me here before, it gives me an opportunity to pull together some great products that are hidden away in the Creative Expressions warehouse, and then add in a few of my favorite products, which I've done today with some of the Cosmic Shimmer items, and then be able to twist a few arms and put together a really great deal. And that's exactly what we've done for you again this evening. So I'll be sharing that with you in just a few moments. Now, make sure you obviously like, follow and subscribe to us here, because we come out every Thursday at 6 o'clock, but also we've got lots of other exciting deals. I really don't want you to miss out. So if you could make sure you follow, like and subscribe us across all of the social media platforms that we're going out on live this evening, that would be absolutely fantastic. And of course, share it with all your crafting friends as well. Now, I'm going to take you across to my craft desk. I'm going to show you what I've put together here for this next treasure hunt here with Creative Expressions. Come and follow me, and I'll show you what we've put together. So, what we have here for you tonight is a great bundle of dies from Sue Wilson. They are a all-in-one collection. I've put together a couple of those, and also we've got a really nice little petite dianthus die as well for some floral decorations. Also an embossing folder, one of Sue's pinpoint ones that I've pulled out as well, and a selection of colours from one of my real favourite products from Cosmic Shimmer. I absolutely love the shimmy shakers. I love the mica content, and the shimmer shakers are a great range of products. I'm really excited to share those with you this evening as well and show you what we can do with them. So let's have a closer look down at the craft desk, and we'll show you exactly what we've got here. So the first die I've got here is an Everyday All-in New Adventure by Sue. It's a two-part die. You can see there how that's going to look in a moment, and I'll give you some details on the price of all of this in just a few moments and what the deal is that we've put together. This is another two-part die from Sue's all-in-one collection, Wishing You Brighter Days. Now, these are fantastic dies. They've got really nice decorative elements on the inside. They're a one-cut, what I like to call a bit of a one-cut wonder, where it gives you all the details in one cut, and you've also got the benefit of that outer frame as well as a two-part die set. And then you've got this really nice floral die that I found from Sue's range of finishing touches. And this little petite dianthus is a 6 die set, and I'll show you exactly what you can do with that in a few moments. But you've got some really nice little tiny floral elements there, and you can treat that in lots of different ways. And finally, in terms of Sue's products, we've got Sue's Daisy Trail Pinpoint Embossing Folder, which is a really sort of unique design that Sue's, with the pinpoint designs, lots of little tiny divot details there, which again, I'll show you how that can be used to create a really nice background to your cards. And the 3 colours that we've got here that I've picked out on the shimmer shakers for you tonight, they're for to show you. They've got the Heather Meadow, which is this one, which is a really nice lilac colour. We've also got the grass green, and finally the rich wine there. So you can see those 3 colours, and I'll show you in a lot more detail in a few moments. I'm just going to put those to one side, and I will give you what the RRP price for our bundle is tonight. So for all these products you can see here on my craft desk, including the Cosmic Shimmer, they are £54.99, £54.99 for the whole bundle. But if you've been watching me before now, you know that it's not going to be that, and it's going to be a great bundle price of £29.99. It's £29.99, and that's with free UK postage from the Creative Expressions website. So without further ado, I'm going to show you what you can do with all these products. So to start off with some of the designs from both Sue herself and also the design team, I just want to share with you a few of the cards that they've kindly put together and sent across for me to show and share with you this evening. So this one's using this die here, the Everyday is a New Adventure die. You can see there what I mean about all the details in one cut, and it just looks so great with that embossing folder background. I'll give you a little close up there, so you can pick out and paper place all the different details in there, create a bit of a shadow. I think this is one of Sue's designs as well, with a signatory pinpoint around the outside. So really nice design there with that die. We've got another take on it here. This is using the oval one, the Wishing You Brighter Days, and this is using some of the mica powders in the background, the shimmer shakers using it as a spray, and I'll show you exactly how you can make your own sprays up. Like I said, they're one of my favorite products from Cosmic Shimmer, and they're just so versatile. So that just gives you another take on it. And here's another concept, which is using some of the foundation card and also the frosted diamond frost glitters that we have there. It's been added to the letters. And another really ornate card here that we've had put together by our design team. And this is, again, the oval one, wishing you brighter days, and lots of paper placing there to bring back the colour. Really, really nice design. So much inspiration. I love here concept of cutting out the butterflies from the die itself, which you can obviously do, snick in. Lots of opportunities to sort of snickability die on this one to add in other elements. And I'll show you exactly the same thing in the card that we're going to make this evening. And just one more to share with you, and again showing you how you can treat this with double-sided sheets and some of our ultra fine glitters that we have as well from the Cosmic Shimmer range. Absolutely stunning. So thank you to our design team and to Sue for all of those makes. I'm just going to share with you a couple of concepts using not so much the the dyes, but actually the mica powders as well, and a couple of cards that I've made in the past. It's just to show you how versatile you can be with your shimmer shakers. So these three colors here are, you can mix them and use them as a palette, so really, really versatile. But the concept here, slightly different with the embossing folder and stamps, but just gives you an idea of all of this was colored up using these shimmer shakers. So the background is a spray from the shimmer shakers. This is letter pressing, using it with an embossing folder with shimmer shakers. The whole image here is all colored using the shimmer shakers. So it just shows you that one card, just using a small range of colors, and you can actually color up a complete creation using your shimmer shakers. Not only can you use it like that to paint with as a wet product, you can also add it to lots of other products from the Creative Expressions Cosmic Shimmer range. So you can also add your shimmer shakers to texture paste. You can use clear texture paste. You can also use the white texture paste. That's exactly what I've done here. And so you can play that over the top of dark card and it will retain that shimmer and color. So lots and lots of different techniques that you can use with these that you will have seen me use in the past. I'll certainly use them time and time again in the future. So let me pop these bits and pieces to one side and let's make a start on what we're going to do this evening. So I'm actually going to use this die here in our demo for the first one that we're going to do. And we're also going to use that one and the embossing folder. I'm going to start with the embossing folder. Let's pop those down there. So we've got a daisy trail embossing folder, and I'm going to show you where we're going to go with this. So the card that we're going to make together this evening is this one here. And what I've actually done is I've used, a little bit like the concept I just told you, I've used all of those shimmer shakers to colour this card up. So this background sprayed, it's shimmer shakers, all this pearlescent card that you're seeing, it's really metallic. That's all the mica from those shimmer shakers used to colour it. This background's all shimmer shakers, the butterfly, the flowers, this border, absolutely everything is coloured using the shimmer shakers. So this card, other than the black card, is basically all starting off just as normal bright white foundation card, and then that's what you end up with right the way across the design. So it's really simple to do, and you've also got the luxury of that pinpoint embossing folder that's in the bundle that I've pulled together for you this evening. You can see there it's in the background with that card, so you can see the dimension there as well. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. And let's start off with our pinpoint embossing folder. And the only other colour of piece of card that I've got is this one here, because it just matches really, really nicely that green grass shimmer shaker Cosmic Shimmer powder that we've got on the bundle this evening. So let me just put those to one side. Now I'm just going to start off, quick tip with these, any embossing folder really, 3D or normal, a little bit of mist of water on your cardstock will just loosen the fibres, and especially with the pinpoints, it will just stop it breaking through the cardstock. It doesn't matter what cardstock you use, if you can do that in any embossing folder, it really does make a big difference to the finished item. So let's just run that through our machine and let's get that embossed first. And then while that's going through, I can show you what it's going to look like. So when that's come through, that's where we're going to be with it. I've just trimmed that down, and you can see there that the fibres in the in the embossed piece itself there, haven't broken through at all, and it just helps with that little bit of spray to make a difference. You can see the detail there. It's lovely, the pinpoint design. There's lots of ideas you can use with this. I decided not to do the letterpressing because that works differently with the shimmer shakers on slightly different embossing powders, but you could go over there with some of your Cosmic Shimmer Gilded Touch or Gilded Wax, and lots of different ideas you could use with that. But I've decided to keep it plain because we've got the shimmer shakers and I wanted to colour up the card in different ways. So let me just pop the folder to one side and we're bringing the next element that we're going to use. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a little bit of card here that we're just going to use as our background, just to create a border around that. Now I want to treat this piece of bright white card first, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to bring in a bit of sheet just to keep things clean for ourselves, and also I've got a mixing palette here as well. Now I'll just give you a little show of what this actually looks like. So these come in a little pot like this, and they have, open that up, a little tiny, almost like a pepper pot inside, where you can actually just shake and empty the powder straight into a palette. You could use that as a dry product over the top of your project as well. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to open this up, just show you. There in 2 seconds. I'll just take the top off. So you can actually take that sort of pepper pot top off, and I can show you what's inside. So there is our mica powder from the shimmer shaker in there, and I'm going to just use it like this to empty some of this off into my palette that I've got down here. Just going to use a little tool just to spoon out a little amount. I'm going to mix that with some water in a minute, and I'll show you how that goes together. So as I said, you can use this powder dry. You can use it with a perfect medium pad to do some dry embossing over the top of, so you could stamp an image and brush that over the top. You can use it like that. You may have seen me do that, but you can also use it wet like this, which is how I thought I'd show you this evening, how you can colour up some cardstock. It's a really quick, effective way of working. So just added a little bit of water there, nothing else. Just going to grab a brush, and we're just going to mix that up. So you can see once you've added that water in, it's quite quick just to mix that around like so. And it gets a really nice sort of almost creamy sort of consistency, and that's what you're looking for. It doesn't want to be really watery. It wants to still almost have, you can see there, it's got a slight thickness to it, and that's the mica powder, and it's real luxurious sort of metallic paint really. It's lovely. So I'm just going to take some of that, and I'm going to, because I don't need to treat the whole piece of card, I just need to go around the outside. You can see how quickly that covers, and you'll see that, I'm sure, on the camera there as I'm doing this, just how metallic that absolutely is. And that's all that gorgeous mica coming out of the shimmer shakers. Really, really is absolutely stunning. I love this product. Really rich colour as well. And it's just the edge that I'm really worried about. So there's no need to waste the product around the centre of the card. It's just that piece I'm looking for there. Now that will dry really quickly. I'm just going to pop the palette to one side. And once it has done, I can then frame that background up over the top. So I've done one earlier. And I'm just going to bring in, once that's dry, it's going to look something just like that there. And that is going to keep that metallic pearlescent finish that you can see on that card. And then I can stick that down to the centre there. So let's just clear up that excess that I've got there. And we'll pop that to one side. Let's carry on with sticking that down. So good old trusted Cosmic Shimmer Clears Dry Glue here that we're using on the back of the embossing folder that we did. There we go. And just very quickly line that up, and that just retains that border. So we've got sort of a bit of colour on colour, but we've got the texture of the embossing folder, and then we've got that really nice metallic or pearlescent edge to our card. But bear in mind, it all started off, it's just the white cardstock, and we're just using the mica powders to colour those up as we go. Right, now the next piece we need to do is something similar. And we're just going to matte and layer that up, and I'm going to show you how you can create the backgrounds using a spray. So you can make your own misters using these as well. So I've got here, these come in a little set of mister bottles from Cosmic Shimmer. And we'll pop the details down below. And don't forget, as I'm going through here, if you've seen me before, you know I'm always requesting that you send in your makes, what you use. Don't forget, comment below. Creative Expressions team are online with us at the moment as well. Obviously, I'm not, so I'm busy crafting, but I can certainly read back your comments afterwards, and I'll be able to reply to any questions that you may have. But by all means, do get in touch with us below on this, because we've got both myself and the team. We will be looking back through the comments, so if you've got any questions, we can help you out. It's not a problem. So what I'm doing here, just putting a little bit of the dry powder into an empty spray container. And only about 2 or 3 quantities like that. It's only a little bit in the bottom. A little does go a long way. I'm just going to pop the cap back on. And I'm then going to add a little bit of water. Now, I'd normally just run this under a tap or something, but what I'm going to do is just transfer a bit of water from a Woodware mister bottle that I've got here. I'm just going to fill it up sort of two-thirds of the way up through the bottle, and I'll show you how this is then looking. So in there, I've got my powder and I've got my water. I'm just going to cap off the end with my finger, just give that little shake before I put the top on, because I want to make sure the mica powder and the water is really well mixed. And I don't really want to do it with the spray top on, because what I don't want to do initially is cause a blockage on there with the mica powder. But if I give it a good shake first, then put that on, I've now got my own mica powder pigment spray ready to go in my own little bottle. And I could even mix 2 or 3 of these colours that I've put together. You can certainly do that and mix up your own palette in different colours, and we'll be mixing the colours in a minute. But just for the spray, I wanted to show you how it works, just this one colour, because obviously you can use this technique right the way through. So let me just very quickly grab in I've got a towel here. If I just lay that down quickly, it's going to be a bit of spray work just to cover the work desk very quickly. There we go. And just a quick tip, if you, rather than shaking them, once you've got your cap on, rather than shaking it like that, if you just give it a roll backwards and forwards, you will tend to find that it will stop any clogs happening. You can roll it on the table if you want, in the pigment, because obviously you made this up yourself rather than it being factory made. You put your dry powder in there and your water. We have a tendency to just want to clog a little bit more readily. So just make sure that you've got your mica well mixed up, and let's give this a little bit of a spritz. So it's as simple as just then using it just as any other mister. I'm just going to go over there. There we go. And you can see the difference that I've got there. You can go for a nice fine mist around the edges or thick mist. And when that's dry, I'll show you how that's going to look. Mine is a little bit different here. I've gone not quite so heavy, but you've got that technique there, and you've still got all of the detail of the mica you can pick up there, and the colour as well. So that's as simple as that, just to turn around and make your own water-based sprays using your mica powders. So I'll pop that to one side to dry. Clear that away for you. There we go. And let's bring that piece back in. So that's our next layer that we're going to use. Now I'm going to place that down over the top like that. So let's bring the glue back in. And you can see now how just treating all this bright white cardstock in different ways, using that at the moment, the same colour that I've got from the Shimmer Shaker, from the Cosmic Shimmer range. It's in today's bundle. So don't forget, this bundle is on the Creative Expressions website. It's available right this very moment as I'm doing this. You can head on over there. $29.99 on today's price, including the UK postage, because that is free on the website. And that's just for 1 week only, or while stocks last. So if you want to follow back and watch this with me at a later date, you can come back here and watch this again on YouTube, Facebook, and you'll be able to follow through and use the same tools and all the colours and dyes and everything that I'm using here. So there we go, we've built that up. Now we're going to go for one more layer, and I'm going to bring in a different colour this time. I'm going to bring in the Heather Meadow, and I'm going to do a similar technique to what we did before. I'm just going to, rather than take the cap off, I will just show you, using it like a pepper pot, how you tend to sort of brush it over, and you just tap the bottom like that, and then with that, a little bit of the powder will come out, and a little does go very, very long way, especially when you're mixing it with water. You really don't need a lot of water at all. I'm just going to rinse my brush out, get rid of that colour that we had before, and we mix up this heather colour that we've got here. Again, I love mixing them with water. They're just so vibrant, the colours in this palette range. Now, there's loads of shimmer shakers. I can't remember how many colours there are. It's a big range of palettes. So these three are a great starter to start the collection. And certainly just sort of maybe getting 6 or 10 different colors, you'll be amazed how big the palette range is with that. Now I'm doing exactly the same technique that we did before. I'm just going around the edge of the card because I don't really want to waste the product on the center, because it's only the edge of the card that I'm going to see. And this, again, it's a great way of working with white cardstock, saves a bit of money on your pearl card, your mirror card. Don't need it with these products. You can make your own. You've seen me done this a few times now. It's just a great way of getting lots of versatility out of your products. And again, making your own cardstock to match in, and you know it's going to work color palette wise because I put it together for you, and that color will look great over the top there with that one. So I'm now going to, and that would take a couple of minutes to dry. That's all, literally. You could use a heat gun if you want, a heat tool on it just to dry it off. But again, I'm going to pop that to one side, and I've got one here that I've done earlier, and I will just take up that excess there. So I forgot to use my craft sheet before I put the card down. There we go. So I've got one here just with a bit of black card around it just to frame it, and that's going to make up the back of our card. So we're fast approaching this whole thing coming together quite nicely now. So I'm going to use the dies. Don't forget, it's got the dies in the pack as well on today's bundle. But I just want you to focus on the shimmer shakers just to start with, just to show you how you can build up some really magnificent card backgrounds. And that's, you know, in all fairness, just using the embossing folder in those, you've already got a really nice base for all sorts of projects you could go over the top of there. But we're obviously going to use our all-in-one dies that I've put together in today's bundle for you. So let's just pop that to one side for the moment, because we're going to move on to the next stage of our project. And that is going to be the die itself. So let me bring in the die we're going to use, which is, there we go, the Every Day is a New Adventure die. Just really like the saying on this one, so I picked this one out to focus on with you. But obviously you could use the same technique using the oval die that's in the same bundle as well. And what we're going to do is a couple of things which I'm going to show you very quickly that you're able to do with this. So first things first, I want to use this outer frame that Sue's put in the bundle to actually create the background of our card. So that's this purple piece here around the outside. So that's a separate piece, makes a frame on its own. When you run that through and cut it out, what you'll actually end up with is something that looks just like that. And all I've done is I've gone ahead and I've coloured the whole piece of card with that Heather Meadow shimmer shaker that I've got in the bundle this evening. Just using some bright white cardstock. There you go. You can see it's just normal white cardstock coloured up and then cut out. So that's all that's been done with that one piece there. And that starts the base, if you like, of our topper. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you how to do with the shimmer shakers is a slightly different technique again. So let me just pop that to one side. We'll come back to that in a moment. And I am going to put down my trusted towel again over the top of here. I mean, anything like sprays or something like this, I'd normally grab a box or work on it, something like that. But whilst obviously we're here, we just need to work quickly. I am just doing this straight on top of the craft desk. And to be honest with you, it's not that messy on smaller pieces like this anyway. So a normal piece of white cardstock, and I'm just going to give that a little spritz of water because we're going to get this project quite wet. And I just want to save the paper curling as you start to add more wet product to it. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to use all three of our shimmer shakers that I've got in the bundle, and we're going to use the benefit of the little pepper pot that you get with these. So as well as taking that off, you can also sort of sprinkle and puff that over. So that's all I'm going to do is just gently tap the product over the top of the white cardstock, just like so. You can probably see that starting to come through now. There you go. And what I'm also going to do is take some of that same colour that we used on our frame, and I'm just going to tap that over as well. And that's, you can certainly go back in and add a little bit more in a minute if you need to. And finally, we haven't used this one just yet, but we'll be using it on the flowers in a moment. This is a really, really rich red. So you don't tend to add a lot of that one because it's got an awful lot of colour in it. Right, so now finally, just a bit of water in a mister bottle. We're going to go over the top of our project with that, and I'm just going to show you what that will start to do. So all we're going to do is start to add that water. It's going to react with the mica, and slowly it will now stick to the cardstock, which is now done. And the more water you add, the different effects you're going to get. So I can stop there now. You can already see that we've got the purple coming through, the green, the red. loads and loads of different movement there. But if I carry on adding a bit more water, just very, very fine mist, you'll start to see that those colours intensify and start to run and start to mix together. And then over time, as that dries, where that's going to go, and I'll just show you because you can't really see the mica there at the moment because the card is so wet. And that's why we wetted the card first, so it stops it all bending. You want to try and keep it fairly flat. But once that's actually gone off and dried, all I've done is gone ahead and trimmed a piece out here of one I've done earlier. And that's, again, just white cardstock. Once that's completely dry, what you've actually got then is you can see all that mica's now come to the top there, and you can see that glistening and shimmering with that pattern that we've got there, as well as all that colour. Just creates a really, really interesting background using just the water and those three colours I put in today's bundle. So let me just pop this one to one side while it's wet to dry. You just want to keep it flat so that it doesn't really run too much. Depends what design you want. If you want it to run, you could, obviously pick it up, maybe add a bit more water. And as you do, you're going to start to get these runs like that. And that's a completely different effect again. So there's lots of different techniques you can do. But for that one, I just kind of kept it flat on a baking tray, put it to one side to dry, and just give it maybe about an hour because it depends how wet you get it. And then that will dry off. So let me pop the trusted towel to one side. And we'll come back in with that finished piece that I was showing you. And also our topper that we made there, the back of our topper. And then finally, we want to bring in the die itself. So when that's cut out, I've just cut that out of some black cardstock that we've got here. There you go. You can see that, a bit of black foundation cardstock. And that's the actual detail that we've got in that design. So it's got some lovely butterflies. There's nothing stopping you going in, as you saw on one of those design team cards, and snicking those out as little toppers. That's exactly what we're going to do with this little butterfly here in a minute, the larger one down the bottom. But before we get to that stage, I just want to treat this up a little bit more. So all I've done with this is put some Cosmic Shimmer glue on the back of it, applied it to my background once it's dried, just like that. It creates a really nice, interesting background with that silhouette of the die, and then trimmed that piece off. What I tend to do with that is, as you saw, I do a larger sheet of card. Once I've got a larger sheet, just allows me to snick in and use it for lots of different projects and backgrounds. It's just a lot easier rather than working a smaller piece at a time. You find you get a lot more out of your product if you use a larger A4 sheet, do the whole piece, and then that's exactly what you're going to get then in one go. I can show you a couple of different ideas here. So that's another one that I've done. You can see I put a lot more purple on there. It almost looks silver under the light there, actually, but it's just those same three colours. I did the whole sheet, and I can use that at a later date and snick in and cut pieces. Now, a lovely thing with the mica, not forgetting, is that it will work on dark card as well. So as well as white card, that's just a piece of black card, you can go in there and add the mica, and it will show on black card. The colour is retained. It's just those same three colours that we got. They're fantastic as sort of a space card with maybe planets, or again, maybe something a bit oriental with a bit more red in it. And then looking at that spray technique that I showed you earlier on, not forgetting that that same spray, the one that we made up in the bottle, I know we did it on the white card, but there's nothing stopping you doing it on black card as well, just like you saw on one of the samples that I showed you at the beginning that I've done, where I had black card there just around the edge. So again, very, very different technique. And that's a lovely thing with these shimmer shakers. With the mica, it will work on white and black card. So they really are sort of a real key ingredient to the Cosmic Shimmer range. And as I said, real favourite of mine. So I digress. I just want to share that with you because it's a nice little idea. But when we've trimmed that down, what we're going to end up with is something that looks like that there. And that gives us our topper stuck down, which I'm then going to mount just very quickly onto our back of our topper. So I've just gone ahead and put some foam tape onto here. I'm going to take these off, like so. So don't forget, if you've got any questions as we're going along, feel free to comment below and share any other ideas or creations that you've done. Maybe you've seen these shimmer shakers before. Maybe you want to share what you've done with them in the past. Always interesting seeing that. I know that's what crafting is all about, sharing with other people. So now we've got our topper made up there. I'm going to pop that onto that card base that we made earlier on, pop that in the middle. So again, I've got some more foam tape on the back of here. And we just mount that up, and then we're going to have a look at that really nice little petite flower that I've picked out for you from the Finishing Touches range of Sue's. Let's pull this off. And all these items are available on the Creative Expressions website. I'm just using the Woodware foam tape here just to add a bit of dimension to the card. the glue that I'm using. I'm sure the team are doing a magnificent job. I know they are. We'll get them to put some links down below of the products as well that I'm using. But all the main features here, the dyes, the colours, are all in tonight's bundle. So you can see the card really coming together there. So if we just go back and look at our finished piece, there's just a couple more details to show you, and that's the flowers. And also the only other thing I did was the white pen. I just went around using just a normal white gel pen that you may very well have in your stash there, and just picked out the lettering there, which you may be able to see in the detail. It just adds a little bit more detail and a little bit more dimension to the lettering. It's just a case of very simply just tracing the letters around to add that detail. So let's have a look at our flower decorations that we want to add in those corners there. Pop that to one side, and we'll do that right now. So the flowers start life again as bright white cardstock, just like you've seen me do before. And all I've done is I've coloured up some of the purple, the green and the red. And I'm going to use that to die cut from. So again, you can colour your cardstock and then just die cut it out, as well as using it to make coloured card and borders. And what I then did is went ahead, and if I grab a little die set, here's our die set from Sue, the petite dianthus. We've got 3 different flower head sizes, a little bit of foliage, and even the little details in the middle of the flower heads there, so you can see the deal. And they are quite tiny flowers as well. It's just something a little bit different. And it's nice, not just for larger cards as a group of them, but maybe even on smaller cards, just using them as sort of sets of 2 or 3 flowers at a time. So I've gone ahead, just to save a little bit of time, and die cut all of these little elements out. And I've also gone ahead and used the some of the red cardstock. And again, I tend to do sort of strips like this. So I can place that over the top of the die, run that through, and it would just cut out the butterfly that I've got just there. There we go. So that's what I meant about snicking in and cutting out details from these dies. Because it's all sort of fretwork and lace, it's so easy just to 3 or 4 or 5 little cuts, and then these little detail pieces drop out. So there's lots you can do with these. You can remove the words and just have a frame. So they really are really versatile. So it's something worth thinking about, using them in lots of different ways. So I've also gone ahead, so cut out that butterfly that I've shown you there. It's just been coloured up, and we'll come back to that one in a minute to add the detail. So I'm going to pop that one up there. And then I've used those same 3 pieces of cards to go ahead and cut out all of the different elements that I've got here. So we've got the different size flower heads that we've got, 3 of those. And we've also got a load of foliage that I've gone ahead and I've cut out of the purple and the green colours from the Shimmer Shakers, which you can see there. So I'm just going to show you how I'm going to make these flowers up. And there's so many different ways you can do these. There's no right and there's no wrong way. It's what you want to do for your particular design. Because of the nature of them, you could actually keep quite a flat design and just layer them up over the top of each other like so, just twist it apart slightly, just to create a little bit of interest and dimension on your card, and see how easy that looks. And that's just using the same sort of tone on tone color. But I'm going to show you how just to build them up and add a little bit more dimension. We're going to use that just using a pokey tool, or you could use a fine tip of a ball, rolling ball for embossing tool. I'm just going to use our pointy tool here, and I'm just going to go into each of the flowers and just basically very carefully, you can see there, just roll that around the point. So you could do this around a fine pencil or pen, but if you've got a pokey tool, that is going to be the best way of doing it, just to give a little bit of shape and dimension to each of the leaves. Now I'm just going to do another one as well. So what I've done is I've done one large flower head, and I'm going to go in and do another large flower head in the same way. And I'll show you why in a minute, because what I'm actually going to do is just going to layer up 3 or 4 layers of these, just to create a bit of dimension. And the nice thing with the Shimmer Shakers on the foundation bright white card is, I'm not sure, you'll see it more clearer in a minute when we've made up the flower, but you get this lovely white edge to the petal, which you obviously wouldn't get if that was coloured cardstock. Because I've coloured it and then die cut it, it retains that little white edge. And it just means in a minute, when we mat and layer up the different elements of this flower and build it up, you retain that little white edge, and it really does just add a little bit of bling and a bit of pop to the card, and certainly adds a lot more dimension to a flower when you're doing it this way. So you don't have to do all of this, but I'm just wanting to show you how far you can take a little tiny die like this from the finishing touches range, just adding a little bit of dimension to each of the petals. I'm just curling it around the tip of that pokey tool that I've got on the end here of the tool that I'm using. The last one, and then we've done enough to make one flower. So just going to show you one more time, a little bit closer, just on this one petal. So all I'm doing is placing that in the middle like that, and then just curling and rolling the two sides of the flower up together around that tool and removing. And then it just gives me that little V shape, as opposed to just a flat petal. So that's all I've done with each of those flowers that you can see there. So let me just pop that around to one side, and we're going to start to build this up. So I've got some Cosmic Shimmer glue in a little fine tip nozzle. I'm also going to use the Easy Pick tool from Woodware. Great little tool, this one. So many different uses for picking up small details. You'll have seen me possibly use this before, and I'll use it in a minute actually, just to pick up a little bit of detail. So all I'm doing here is just layering two of the largest flower heads together. I'm just offsetting it ever so slightly so the petals fill in each of the gaps, like so. So if I do that down on the craft desk first, it'll be a little bit easier just to show you how that's going to look. There we go, like so. And I'm just going to put the next layer in. I'll lift it up so you can have a little closer look. So obviously it is a little petite flower, so they are quite delicate. And then I'm just using the ball tool just to pop that down like that. So you can see how that's now starting to shape up. You'll see what I mean about that white edge around the edge. Just adds a lot of dimension to the flower. And obviously that's clear as dry glue. Will go completely clear. Once that's dry, you won't see that at all. And then the final little piece in the middle. And again, I'm just twisting it around so each of the petals fill in the gap behind. Just to create that dimension that we've got. There we go. That's coming together nicely there. Now I've got a little bit of foam here. Just a foam sort of stamping pad or something like that. And all I'm going to do is just push that flower down into the foam like that. You can see there, just to create and give it a little bit of shape as that then dries. And I could just pop that to one side to dry. I would then finish it off with just adding in there a little tiny center of the flower. Is it the stamen, I think? And this is where the little easy pickup tool from Woodware really comes into its own. It's got this little wax tip, so you can pick up fine details like that. It just holds it on the end of the tip. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. And it's going to stay there quite happily until I'm ready to place it down, which is what I'll do. I'll place that down onto the center of the flower. I'll try and do it up here, and then just push it down, and I can use the other end of the tool, once that's in position, just to push that down into the glue, like so. So useful little tool this, to have the pickup end and then the little ball end, just to sort of position and shape your flowers, and you really can't go wrong with it. So I've gone ahead and I've made 3 of those already. I've got a nice little set of 3. You can see how they look when they're all dry. And they are really nice little delicate flowers and just give a bit of dimension. I said it's just treating them a little bit differently, colouring that in with the cardstock. Right, let's pop that to one side, and then let's build up the rest of our card using these final elements and just bring the whole project together. So let's bring that one back in. I'm just going to go ahead and use some of the Cosmic Shimmer glue on these little bits of foliage. I'm just going to add a little bit of detail into the corners. So I know that's sort of colour on colour, and you can just bend these pieces up. And whoop, bring that one around. You can see how it comes together. It just adds a little bit of, and it's just a really nice little floral die to quite easily add a little bit of dimensional interest, pretty much any of your projects. I said, because it's tiny, it works quite well on small cards, but you've got the luxury of being able to use this as a set, building up lots of flowers. You could sit there and just quite happily watch TV and make them on your lap. They're quite quick and easy to make, quite therapeutic. And then you've got a bunch of them ready to use on your next project. That's a nice little novel die. Right, we'll pop one piece in there. I think that's probably enough of those for the moment. And I'll go in and add a little flower in there, down the bottom. So this is all just Cosmic Shimmer, clear as dry glue, just plenty of glue on the back. And then we can add the detail of some more. There we go, and put one more up there. You could really go to town with this. You could do a whole spray all the way down the side of your card. And you just really need to leave that flat where that glue dries off and sets. And we'll put another bit of foliage in there. I think we're probably going to call that a day then, if I just twist that in under. And this is a nice thing with a foam tape. You can slide these pieces in underneath and add a bit of detail in with those there as well. And I could carry on and build up a bit more on that. And I'm going to add our butterfly that I told you about. A little bit of glue on the back of that one. We'll place that back in where it comes from the die set. Just like so. There we go. Just pop those extra little bits and pieces. And I will save those for later, for the next one. And then you can see how that die and the floor dies come together there and built that up. Now those flowers are still going to be drying off there, but you can see how I've just positioned those in the corner just to add a little bit of interest. You've got the dimension of the butterfly lifted off of the background there. Got all of the different Shimmer Shake and mica colours bringing the whole thing together. And I think to say that together we have, if I put the two together, pretty much created exactly what I showed you at the beginning. And that's just using the bundle on today's show and a few of the Cosmic Shimmer glues, foam tapes, bit of bright white card. That's all you need to make that. I'm sure we'll put all those other details that I've of the other little additional products that I've put together. So today's bundle, just to remind you, if I pull everything together, let me just pop that to one side and let's bring in the dies, because this is what we're wanting to know what we've got. So that's the die that I've just been using. The all-in-one collection. Every day is a new adventure. We have got the embossing folder from the Pinpoint collection from Sue. That's the Daisy Trail one. Just pop that on there. That's in today's bundle I put together for you. And then we got this other die we looked at the beginning, Wishing You Brighter Days. Again, exactly the same as what I've just showed you. You can treat this in the same way and use that on top of the card that we've just made together, which is that one there. And then we've also got the three my favourite, the Shimmer Shakers from the Cosmic Shimmer range in those three colours. It just shows you how much you can do with that, using them both as a dry powder, mixing it with water to do the edges of your card, painting cardstock and die cutting from it to make your own die cut coloured elements. You can mix it with water to make a water-based spray with it, and then you can keep these to one side. We do these little bottles empty. They pop the details in there for you from the Cosmic Shimmer range, so you can fill and keep your colours to one side and mix your own. You can also use it as a dry powder as well, as I said, over the top of a stamped image with perfect medium. Brush it over using some of the brushes that we've got from Cosmic Shimmer as well. They look something like that. I know we haven't shown you how to do that today, but that's a completely different technique as well as letterpressing. I have to see if I can bring some of these colours back to you, maybe in a different palette on another treasure hunt, if I can twist some arms, and I love using these, and we use those in a different way. So all of that today on the bundle for the treasure hunt is £54.99 is the RRP. But as you know, as I told you earlier, it's just £29.99 on today's offer, and that's for the next week, and that's free UK postage as well. Now, we don't currently ship international, but obviously you can find these in all good stockists internationally as well, because Creative Expressions brands and Cosmic Shimmer is known far and field. And also don't forget, as I was saying, to make sure that you follow, like, and subscribe on this video so you can share it with your crafting friends. And also we'll make sure we notify you then when I'm next back on with one of my treasure hunts on Thursday at 6 p.m. UK time. But before I go any further, I will just pop a couple of other cards back there from our design team, and also Sue as well, just to give you a little bit of inspiration. And I will pop some of these on my social media as well, so you can have a look at those and come back for more inspiration. But I hope that's really given you some great ideas of what you can do with today's bundle at a terrific price. Again, as I said, £29.99, free postage if you're in the UK. And don't forget to come back and see me again very, very soon. I'll be here Thursday, 6 p.m. UK time for the next Creative Expressions treasure hunt. And I don't know what it's going to be just yet, but I'll have to find what I can pull together for you for next Thursday. And I will see you back here right then. Thanks for watching.